We have a saying around here.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, no brains, no headache.
Well, hello, boys.
What's up? What's up?
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
No Brains, No Headache, episode 164 starts right now. We're recording on August 7th. It's out August 8th. You're listening to whenever the hell you want. Episode 164 of the mindlessly entertaining show featuring two best friends from Bismarck, North Dakota. I'm your host today. I'm Jordan Weichel. And as always, haven't seen you in a few days. I'm with my co-host, confidant, and co-host, Matt Cleary. How are you?
I have a better question. How are you feeling?
This isn't my first rodeo, and I have been hungover before and tired, but if you would have asked me this question about 6-7 hours ago, you wouldn't have gotten a response because I was dead on my couch. But I'm feeling pretty decent. I think one more good night of sleep, one more good meal in me after we're done recording here. I'm going to, have the classic guilt meal where you're just like, you know what would make me feel better? The worst meal possible.
Yep.
And you spend $25 on it. Just it's expensive and it's not great for you, but it's like a mental thing.
Yeah, then you feel worse because of the food, not from what you did to your body the last 5 days.
We'll see what I get. I don't know. I haven't decided what I want yet, but I'm feeling pretty good. Energy's pretty good. Got the voice back a little bit. It was worse about 24 hours ago. Because, in case our listeners don't know, I'm making my return from the return of WEFest. I went back out to WEFest 2023 in Detroit Lakes, Minnesota. Had Morgan Wallen, had Brad Paisley, had Kane Brown. All the boys were in attendance, and I made my way back. So, might as well just get right into it. WEFest return. Then we'll do some Cleary's comments after that. I think we have Facebook Marketplace, always a hot topic on this show. Then we'll do the Olympics, similar to last week. A little bit of a new format just to switch things up for a bit. But WEFest, I left last Wednesday. We were all trying to get out of town as quick as possible. Turns out when you're trying to coordinate between 5 or 6 different dudes, very difficult to get on the same page.
Did you get 4 people there and then you're waiting for that last person? You're like, fucking goddamn it.
Not really. It was more of I left work about 15 to 30 minutes before I was actually planning to. So I knew I was ahead of the schedule. Been having some warm weather lately. So I even was I need to shower once more in my shower before I head out to WEFest. Not that you can't shower there, but it just feels good to really cleanse the body.
Yep.
Before degrading it for 4 to 5 straight days. But just kind of gathering everybody up. So just waiting around. Then, of course, we get everybody in the camper. And then, literally 30 feet down the road, my one buddy's like, oh, I forgot something. But we had a 32-foot camper with a GMC Denali pulling it. And so it was quite the big rig. So it wasn't just a quick turnaround in the street. We had to go do the whole loop. And then, I hope that guy's listening because he kept bitching and moaning and was super anxious about not making it to the gate on time that night. And I'm like, well, it fucking started before we even left. When 10 feet down the road, you have to turn around for something you forgot. That all adds up. And I'm proud to say I didn't hold the team back at all. Okay, I was prompt, I was on time, very studious, and I made the most of it.
So if you hit me with a 0 to 10, what would you rate your WEFest experience?
Well, Matt, we just left Bismarck. Can I tell the chronological story of WEFest?
Go for it.
We wait till the rankings. The rankings don't fucking matter. It's WEFest. Go check it out for yourself if you want it. But we trying to get there as soon as possible, stop in Valley City on the way there from Bismarck to Detroit Lakes. And then we get to town. It's very a little complicated, the roads surrounding WEFest, and I agreed with my one buddy that they usually turn them into one-ways. So like just a normal 2-lane highway is turned into a 1-way. So we didn't go up a certain road we thought. I don't think it would have mattered regardless. We got a little disconfoculated, so then we figured out, okay, let's go around this way. And regardless, all of the mishaps led to us being about 5 minutes late to the gate. They closed them at 10 for camping, 10 p.m. And yeah, we rolled up to that bitch at 10:05, and it was shut down for the night. So didn't get in. So the first night was actually quite interesting. We pulled up to the Detroit Lakes ice hockey rink and camped in the parking lot. Funny thing is, we weren't the only camper either, because another camp, like as we pulled up, another camper must have saw us doing the same thing. They pulled up and they're like, "Can we park here?" We're like, "We don't fucking know." The answer is no, you can't. I mean, nothing happened, but like thinking back on it, it's like, wow, we broke several laws. Trespassing probably be one of them. I know it's a parking lot, but you usually can't just pull up somewhere and camp for the night. I would say littering would be number 2. I mean, we ended up picking up all of our garbage before we left, but when you're on public property and you're sitting around in a circle drinking beers, you usually throw your empty just in the middle. So we just woke up to a pile of beer cans. So that definitely could have gotten us busted. And then public intoxication, which is my third one that I was thinking we easily could have gotten busted with. Now, the cops in Detroit Lakes apparently are like, you know what? This is pretty much like Woodstock.
Yeah, unless it's an 8 or higher.
No rules really matter. So first night was a doozy, of course. Stayed up way later than we should have, and then had to get going early because we wanted to get in line to make sure we got into that campsite and pretty much just start our party as soon as possible. So woke up about the crack of dawn, maybe a little bit after on Thursday. Took a shower lake in Detroit Lake. So that was fun. Checked out Zorba's the night before. Had a little bit of a shitty time at Zorba's, actually. We had a bartender who was just in a pissy mood. You could just tell.
Yeah, I'll say this. I think Zorba's is pretty overrated, if I'm being honest.
I would probably agree. Like, I like the idea and the atmosphere, but I don't know what makes it, besides that, I don't know what makes it anything else special. Pizza's pretty decent, but I ordered a vodka Sprite, got one for my buddy. Man, tasted great. And then we went for round 2, ordered another vodka Sprite, and we both take a sip and kind of look at each other and just like, man, that tastes a lot like Sprite and only Sprite. And it turns out it's very difficult to try to convince your bartender that your drink is super weak, but she made the one before that tasted fine. And now she's being a real bitch about it and wanted to charge us for a whole nother drink just to pour a little bit of extra booze in there. So that was the first night. But WEFest, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about WEFest, not shitty bartenders at Zorba's. Thursday, quite a doozy. They must oversell tickets to these things like crazy.
I read a news article that seemed pretty freaking outrageous.
Yeah, I believe that they oversold VIP by a lot, and those VIPers that didn't get in were told to pretty much F off and go to a different campsite, which is way out of the way, and not VIP. Like, VIP is close to the concert. There's trees, so you have some shade, close to a lot of vendors and food options. The other place is a ghost town, like literally probably a good mile away. Yeah. Not even kidding. Like, that's probably a mile at least away. But then we were staying in the campground called Blue Ox. They got all sorts of campgrounds. There's Viking, there's Eagle, there's Oat Field, which we started calling Oatmeal pretty early on there. And then Lake Sally. I don't know, a few others. Regardless, when you have a 32-foot camper, it is difficult to find a spot pretty much anywhere. I think we tried to get like 2 or 3 different spots before we finally landed at the one that we got. Yeah, I mean, everybody is like super nice in general, but when trying to park your camper, people aren't that nice. We had some people saving a bunch of spots and like tenting, which I get it. But we were like, hey, can we compromise here? Can we work with you? no was the answer for that first spot. The second spot, we were on way too big of an angle of a hill, of a slope, if you will. So my buddy was like, hey, do not unhook that camper until we like tell you to, because we were going to go scope out another spot, because it was like unhook the camper and it just starts rolling down the hill. Like that's how steep it was. It wasn't that steep, but
it would have moved.
Yeah, steep enough, and didn't exactly have the big like blocks or like the little camper tire stopper thingy majiggers, whatever you want to call them. So yeah, Matt, my buddy Mandan, Matt, and I finally found a spot that we came to, and I'm glad we did. It's always so funny how that works out, because it's like it depends on what neighbors you get.
Yeah,
had some neighbors who have been to WeFest for every year since 1999, with maybe the exception of COVID. Super cool people, very nice. Another one of our buddies who was with said that he's like, yeah, they kept on feeding us food, and I'm like, when the hell did you guys get food? Apparently, I missed every time that he came over. I haven't eaten
in 2 days.
Yeah, I really didn't, but so that was fun. Classic case of just walking around, and just had some youngsters, I guess, in comparison to my ripe old age. I had some youngsters across the way, and like I just remember the one guy came over and he asked us to help cut up his shirt, because that's a big thing at WeFest, is you get like a flannel or a flannel-looking shirt, some sort of farmer shirt, rodeo, western style, whatever you like to call it. And then he cut off the sleeves. So he came over and asked us for help and just had like a big shit grin on his face. Has never been to WeFest before. We're like, there you go, buddy. Have a good one. And he was just super psyched up. So that was fun. But we battled the elements. AC wasn't working. Our awning was also fucked too. So no shade.
No shade, no cold air.
It was brutal.
Balls stuck to the side of your leg the entire time.
Yeah, but I think Thursday was more of just like kind of get situated. By the time we got the camper set up and everything else, there was only a little bit of time for walking around before we went to one of the earlier concerts, Bailey Zimmerman.
Dude, he's hot.
Yeah, if you haven't checked him out yet, make sure you do. That's all I was listening to pretty much the couple days leading up to WeFest. So yeah, went and checked that out. WeFest, since you've probably been there too, they have a whole new kind of like infrastructure for drinks. It's like a brand new shop-looking pole barn thing that's just massive, but also dangerous, because one of the nights I was in line, some dude just collapsed like not right in front of me, but in front of me in line. He was up a little ways. And yeah, then when that happened, my other buddy who was with me was like, here's $50. I might pass out too. Get me whatever. Come find me. And I'm like, okay. Little did he know, I felt like passing. 'Cause it's just so hot in there. It's crowded in there. You're drunk and dehydrated. It's loud. Like, there's just a lot of factors.
The way you were setting that up was like, it was great. Like, you're like, it's awesome. Or like the way they do drinks, and then it went downhill.
Not. It's quite terrible.
Back scratcher?
Yeah, I could use that actually. It is quite terrible. And then, like, of course, we fell for it. Some guy's like, oh, what are you guys getting? We're like, we'll drink whatever. He's like, well, if you want just beer, go over to the beer line over here. And so we tried it, and the beer line was worse than the line we were originally in. So I was like, son of a bitch. But I don't know how you can possibly even try to do an efficient drink line for 100,000 people.
I was going to say, my cousin was there. Did you see him?
No.
Okay.
DJ P-Rack?
No, my other cousin.
Okay. I don't know that cousin.
I know it was a long shot, but...
Well, it would help if I had met this person before and have an idea what they look like.
My uncle was like, yeah, it was Ben's 21st birthday at WeFest on Thursday, and I was like, is he dead? And you're like, your sister asked the same thing. And I was like, if there was some places I wouldn't want to turn 21, WeFest might be one of them.
Are you sure, though? Put yourself in the 20-year-old you's shoes and be like, it'd be better than January 5th. That's the worst, one of the worst birthdays out there. Because when you're in school, that's usually like one of the days you go back to school.
And everyone hates
Christmas
their
break.
life, and they're like singing "Happy Birthday" with rage in their voice.
It's always cold. You're still hurting from the New Year's. You realize you have no self-discipline because it's been 5 days and you haven't started your New Year's resolution.
I usually fail by my birthday.
Turn 21 at WEFest, and it's just like, well, and then every year, hopefully, if it lines up, you could have your birthday at WEFest. So that's pretty wild, though. But yeah, Thursday, saw Morgan Wallen. Awesome. It was the second time I've seen Morgan Wallen. This time I was just a little farther away. The first time I saw him, I had a pit pass. Probably could have hawked a loogie on him if I tried hard enough. Here, man, I'll just kind of show you a little bit of a video I got. Because I was like, I better take a video here so I can actually remember some of this. So that was just a little farther away, and I was still even in reserved lawn chair seating. So like, there was people who had worse views than that. Like general admission was behind me.
I remember general admission to the one concert I went to WeFest, and I thought it was far as shit away, and I was at the way front of it.
General admission, and when I was passing by those people, I was like, thank God I'm not in there. It's a sea of people, and like you can kind of like give a description of where you're at if you're trying to meet somebody, but still difficult.
Yeah. I think I was like, when I was trying to find people, I'd be like, I would accidentally find someone else that I knew, and I'd be like, all right, I'm going to hang out with them now.
That's usually the WeFest way, is just find somebody, but we had like assigned seats. So like that first day we went and checked him out. We knew where we were at the whole time. And
yeah,
it was kind of a come and go as you please situation, but Morgan Wallen was good. Friday, and let's be honest, all of this just kind of turns into one big blur.
Well, I heard on Thursday that Morgan Wallen, like there was so many people that like showed up for like his concert that like they couldn't get everyone in the door. So they like just let like 500 people in for free.
I also did hear that. Yeah, it was a few, I don't know how many people. I heard it was a few hundred. They're just like, fuck it. Get your ass in there.
Go have fun.
Yeah, it turned out one of them was a mass shooter. No, they have pretty decent security there, so it's hard to sneak drinks in. I didn't even try.
I remember trying that, and like one of our friends like clearly was walking like he had like something like into the back of his, it's like the waistband, but at the back, and one of the security guards just kicks his back, and 2 beers fall out.
Mm-hmm. That's happened to me before. Right as you're walking through, the beers just fall out. No, I didn't really try this time, but my strategy after Thursday at the concert bowl anyway was right when I get there, go straight to grab me 2 drinks, and then those are the only 2 I'm going to have at the concert, just because it's like, and you better pace yourself. Like you're asking buddies for sips of their beer, like after a while. But I'm not going to lie. Okay, Brad Paisley, great artist, okay? I'm not going to take anything away from him.
But he's short, so you don't like him.
I wasn't having any of his concert. It was the compare and contrast of Morgan the night before, where I was just like, and he was playing this fucking lullaby, and I was just like, what the fuck are you doing? This is WeFest. Like, let's party, dude. Like, let's speed it up a little bit. I feel
like having him in between Morgan Wallen and Kane Brown, who are like 2 kind of like country rock artists that are like pretty high tempo, is like not a great. But then what do I know?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm not going to take away from Brad Paisley. He's great at what he does, very talented, but it was not for me. And I'm trying to keep. I like before I got here, I was like, okay, I kind of got to go through what happened, because I left the Brad Paisley concert early, which it might be a pro tip, because when all these people go to this concert and it's over, they all leave at the same time. Yeah. And it's a real, like you said last week, a fuck fest. Tens of thousands of people leaving a small area at the same time is a fuck fest.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. And I had Mandan Matt with me. It was a look around. Like we should have just held hands at that point.
Just have a rope holding.
Well, yeah, and that's what it was. And surprisingly, I felt as if I was the soberer one. So I was like, okay, I'll take the lead on this one. We surprisingly didn't lose each other.
Okay, I was like, you guys lost each other immediately.
Yeah, so there was that, and then Kane Brown was a lot better. once again, I did leave the concert early. People are like, okay, what is he doing there? And why does he have reserved seating? Here's the thing. Reserved seating is you have a spot. And you can come and go as you please. I mean, you can with any spot. But if you leave your spot in general admission, you're not getting it back at all. And you have to go through a sea of people. Whereas like where I was sitting, there was defined rows and there's some space to walk and like a gate to get in and out. But I had an old friend there who actually spam called you several times that night, but he wanted to meet up. So I went and met up with him, played some pull tabs, lost. And then actually, we didn't leave the Kane Brown concert too early. There was like, I don't know, like a 5 to 10 minute walk back to our camp. And so I took them back to our camp, my friends I met up with. And then like right when we got there is when that concert ended. So it was perfect. Like, didn't miss a whole lot, but beat that rush. Had a sweet firework display, after that show. So that was fun to watch. And then, I mean, WeFest is just like almost like our comedy shows in a sense where it's like the best times are just like sitting around with your buddies.
Yep.
You know, of like just BSing. There was a lot of different games played. What's the one called where you bounce it in the cup and then like you try to stack the person?
Flip cup?
No, and then you stack them. And then you have a bunch of beers in the middle and then one death cup, like really full. All the other drinks are like this big.
Okay. Yeah, I think I know. I don't know what it's
Bloomin'
called.
Onion or something like that. It's a flower. I don't know, dude. It's something, but I played a ton of that. I'm dominating, though. I dominate at bouncing a ping pong ball into a cup. You'd be surprised how difficult it is. At one point, I'm pretty sure I was batting about 900.
Damn.
Like, I wouldn't miss.
I know that, like, sometimes, like, on those plastic tables, you think something's going to bounce like it does on wood, and it just dies.
You do have to watch out for the dead spots, which was a big thing. Some people were not understanding that concept. But, and then somebody actually asked me, like, earlier today, like, what was the craziest thing you saw? And it's just like, unless I just don't remember, like, I didn't see anything too wild. To be honest, I wish I had a cool, super awesome story for you, but I don't know. I saw nipples a couple times, which is pretty par for the course.
Yep.
Saw a lot of funny outfits. Saw some live music. It was a pretty average.
And didn't see my cousin.
Did not see your cousin. Okay, it wasn't average. It was actually, I will say, and I know that there's recency bias, like a son of a gun here, but my best WeFest for sure. Had the most fun. The crew I was with, shout out to Mandan Matt, Rio, Danny Boy, Dalton, and Hooter. That was the crew I was with. They're probably going to be like, please take me off your fucking podcast. But no, they were so much fun. Everybody could hold their own. Everybody was having a good time, being really helpful to anybody else and friendly. And yeah, we had a blast. It's so funny when you're just hanging out at your campsite and like, since our awning and AC didn't work, we really had to take advantage of that shade. So earlier in the day, we would sit on the backside of our camper for the shade, but that was right next to the road. So naturally, we were hooting and hollering at the folks walking by. And I get it. Like, not everybody needs to give the most grandiose response because that happens like every little campsite you walk by. But if you're at WeFest and you're just like, no, to like somebody saying something, it's like, okay, you're at WeFest, you need to lighten up.
Give me a fist bump or something at least, like a
or just a little wave or something. Yep. But it was interesting, like how many times like I wouldn't even be sitting on the roadside. I would just be walking by and like see a group and be like, just wave my hand, just hey, and then they just like walk into the campsite and it's just like, yeah, no, I mean, absolutely, come on in, hang out with us. People like when people like need like a water, they're like, I remember somebody came up to us and they're like, do you have anything to drink? It doesn't have to be beer. And I'm like, well, we have both beer and water. And I mean, it's WeFest. We have everything. What do you want?
The two main food groups.
Gave them a water. She was just so like thankful for a water. It's like, yeah, no big deal. It cost about 4 cents.
Yeah. If you want to pay us back, give me a nickel and we'll get you some change.
You want to take it to the next level, Matt? Offer your guests a bag of chips. that was kind of my trick I had, kept in my back pocket. Hey, you want some chips? And people lose their goddamn mind, apparently, when you feed them.
I mean, you got to be appreciative for a bag of chips. Sometimes that hits the spot after a couple 14,000 beers.
Yeah, come to think of it, on Saturday, we ended up going to get some breakfast burritos because we were tired of grilling deer sausage on the grill. And when you do that for like 3 days straight for every meal, the body gets a little tired of deer sausage and breakfast items. So I had that breakfast burrito, and then I was telling you, I was trying my best to figure out what else I had to eat that day. And for the life of me, it's not coming to me. I think I had a bag of Fritos, but honey barbecue twists.
Ooh, those are good though.
Yeah, those are pretty dang good. So there's that. But I survived. WeFest was awesome. Did you have any FOMO?
I did a little bit on late Saturday night, bleeding into Sunday morning. I was falling asleep on my couch, and Jordan FaceTimes me, but I don't answer. And then I don't remember that because I was sleeping. But then my phone,
I don't either.
My phone keeps ringing.
Here it is.
And I got
11:56 p.m. That wasn't even that late.
Yeah, I know. I probably fell asleep at 11 that night. And I got 4 calls in a row, and I finally answer it. And I'm introduced to a new character that I'll call Dickinson Matt.
Yeah, I know so many Matts. All my best friends are Matts.
And he was like, "Hey, man, how's WeFest?" And I was like, "I don't know. I'm not there." And he's like, "Oh, yeah, that's right. Why not?" And I was like, "I don't know. Don't really like country music all that much." He goes, "Oh, okay."
Sweet.
And I don't say anything, and he doesn't say anything for a solid 30 seconds. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to hang up.
That's funny because I'm pretty sure he told me that you hung up on him, and I probably called you a dick, but apparently there wasn't much.
I was too big. I was doing this weird thing called being fast asleep. But I did. So I posted on our TikTok at NBNH Podcast. You can follow us on all social medias there. And it went a little bit viral of last week's episode when we were talking about all our different stories at WeFest. And people started commenting some pretty outlandish things. So I'll share a couple of them.
Please do.
First one that came up was, I shaved my legs in the Detroit Lakes Perkins parking lot. Which I have a lot of logistical questions about that, but I won't get into it.
It's pretty impressive.
Someone commented today and said, "Hello, 4-day hangover." Hello, right back.
I don't know. I just to comment on that one quick. Every day I woke up, I was just tired. Obviously, I stayed up very late, and then once again, when you're in a camper with no air conditioning and people start blaring music at about 9:30 a.m., it's hard to sleep in. Unless you're Mandan Matt, that guy is one of the best sleepers I have ever experienced in my life. Matter of fact, brought back my lanyard for you. It has no value whatsoever.
Oh, thanks.
But when you're a kid and you go on trip, your parents go on trips, and it's like, "Where's my gift?" I'm doing that for you now. So you can have that lanyard. Funny thing, Mandan Matt did not take off his lanyard. I'm pretty sure once. Every day you'd wake up and he'd be the last person out of the camper. And we're all sitting around and he would just have his attire on from the night before. Didn't change any clothes. Lanyard on the whole time. He's like, "I don't want to forget it for the concert." It's like, fair.
I guess fair. But you could also just, I don't know, get up in the morning and then kind of put it on, or
could also just take it off, but whatever.
Some guy said, when I said it's a fuck fest, he said, "You got fuck fest right," and then commented again and said, "I was plowing for 4 straight days." So kudos on the sex. And I just thought I could use this lanyard for my new car keys because my car is in the shop.
Well, yeah, that's a good one for you. I'm not going to comment on the sexual part of WeFest. I will say use your imagination. How does that sound?
Yeah, my car's in the shop, which sucks. And I thought it was just a small oil leak. Turns out I have to get some sort of Cadillac converter.
It is a Cadillac, not a Cadillac.
I have to get a Cadillac in order for my car to get fixed.
Matt drives a Subaru.
So
I don't know why they would have you have a Cadillac converter, but I don't know much about Subarus, I guess.
can I borrow $1,100?
Maybe, because I do owe you money. I should probably pay that back, but...
Yeah, so that's a real dick punch. So I'm driving my mom's Jaguar around, which I knew Jordan really wasn't perceptive because I was like, yeah, I got a new rig, and you didn't even notice I had a different car in the driveway.
I did notice. I just don't really give a shit.
Okay, that's also fair.
Like, at all. Like, Matt, I'm just trying to get through this recording so I can go back and lay on my chair. I also watched the entire season of Survivor. Speaking of which... Chase Rice was one of the performers, also a contestant on Survivor, so it came full circle.
Like before he was like a big country music star, he was on Survivor, or like?
I mean, yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
how'd you get your start? Well, on a show that wasn't about country music.
That helps. It helps get your name out there when you're on a CBS television show.
Can I get into some other?
Yeah, WEFest recap is over.
0 to 10, hit me with it.
I'll probably go like, can I go decimals here?
Yeah.
I'll do like an 8.4. That's not just a nod to Randy Moss, but it could have been a 10. I mean, and I'm not pointing any fingers and I'm not upset, but if we would have had a little air conditioning, like...
So that knocks off like 0.3.
Boy, would I really have loved... I mean, it's so much more comfortable of it. Because Saturday, I was running out of juice, okay? I was on fumes, and I needed to have a little lie down, so I went into the camper and had said lie down. Then I started sweating profusely, and then I had to have, Mandan Matt bring me an ice-cold towel, which actually helped me, and then I rallied better than I ever rallied before. So, there's that, and then... But, yeah, I mean... 8.4, like the ride kind of sucked. I rode bitch both to and from. I was a real team player. So I was in the back of a truck in the middle seat. Actually ended up cramping up pretty bad on the drive home. I was sprawled out between like everybody in the back just with my leg up in the air. And I'm like, dude, I'm sorry. I'm cramping up right now. But it was one of those hangovers too where it's just like nothing like... Sometimes you're hungover, but like you're thirsty, so like water is tasting really good. You're rehydrating yourself. Nothing was tasting good, like at all. Yep. Stopped for some Popeyes. Overrated as shit, dude. Well, that place fucking sucks. Like the last 2 times I've had Popeyes, it's terrible.
Well, I got good news for you. Bismarck is getting a Popeyes soon.
I'm so tired of these fucking fast food chains. Like you're not good.
Yeah,
you're just convenient and kind of cheap. Anyway,
not even cheap. It's like go to McDonald's. It's $15.
No such thing as a dollar menu anymore. WeFest 2023 8.4. Am I going to go back next year? I don't know. I think it's a little too early to tell, but I would definitely strongly consider it. Moving on.
You were talking about fast food.
Oh, wait.
Okay. Let's party.
Now we can start the episode.
So... Getting into Cleary's comments, Subway put out a challenge. If you change your legal name to Subway, you get entered to win free Subway for life.
That is one of the more ridiculous things I've heard in a while. Does this have to be your first name?
Yeah. I have a lot of questions because it's like you change your name legally and then you get entered. So even if you legally change your name to Subway... You might not win free Subway for life.
That is quite the promotion.
And also getting free Subway for life is $50,000 in Subway gift cards, which I also have a lot of questions.
You just get one at once, or
or do you get like how many would that be? That'd be like, do you get 1,000 $50 gift cards? Yeah, that'd be right.
That would be right.
2,000 $25 gift cards. Also, that's eating like Subway. If you ate Subway for every meal.
Have Subway for breakfast, have Subway for lunch. You're dead by dinner.
I mean...
Hot Pockets.
Yeah. I'm going to assume, how long would it take you to hate Subway, even if you could get whatever you wanted? You ate it for every meal.
Yeah, that happens for sure. You just burn yourself out on something. I mean, it hasn't happened to either of us yet with Busch Light, but there are certain things that you can just have over and over and over again, and then you just get burnt out and you never like them again. WeFest actually is a good example of that. Years ago, they had Leinenkugel's Summer Shandy. It was a rather new thing, so everybody was craving it, digging it, loving it. That was like the only beer they sold at the concert that I liked at the time. I think I've had one since. It's been about 8 years.
I think the last summer, I had one Summer Shandy when we were at the Cubs-Twins game, I remember, but that's just because I had a shitload of McGolden Lights, and I was like, I need something different.
You need to switch it up, and eating Subway every day, clearly, I think you have a better chance of becoming a pedophile.
Pretty much. I don't know how
losing weight or enjoying life.
If anything, Subway's resilient to the cancel culture because they just kind of brush that off.
Did you watch the HBO documentary?
Yeah, it was super creepy.
It was pretty actually hard to watch.
The one lady that was gathering evidence, I feel like she was pretty complicit with the entire thing too. She was like, "That's not bad enough. I need to wait until I get something else."
Well, I think what Subway is doing, actually, I just talked about this recently, because I did notice they have a whole nother ad campaign with a bunch of athletes, professional athletes, and I asked somebody about it, and they said, yeah, they're getting ready to sell. Like the Subway name and chain and brand and everything is about to sell, so usually when they do that, you give a hard push in the marketing department to make it look worthwhile.
Get about 7,500 idiots to change their first name to Subway, and then they change their name.
Yeah, they are. Subway signs multi-unit deals as stalls to sell brand.
Yeah, if anything, bring back Quiznos. Quiznos slapped. They're all gone now.
I was more of a Schlotsky's guy, but I also worked there.
That would do it.
It was a fun job.
You were a sandwich artist.
Well, hated that part. The people I worked with were great. That's what makes a good job.
That is true.
Nobody really likes working.
That is also true. In other news, Ohio State basketball player had a drug test, and his urine came back as pregnant. He got pee from a female, clean piss because he would fail. He got pee from a female who was pregnant, and so they found out he cheated on the drug test because he was not, in fact, pregnant.
Are you trying to tell me that only females can get pregnant and have children?
Wild, I know.
That is a bold statement, modern day, Matt. You better watch what you say on this podcast.
We literally have...
We're 164 episodes in.
I pre-canceled myself episode 3, so I'm pretty much untouchable.
Yeah, probably if you're going to try to use the fake piss on the drug test, I don't know, don't you have any dude friends who don't get high all day every day?
Apparently not. The Ohio State basketball team is just either way too good of humans to not give their piss away, or they just don't like this guy, or they all smoke weed.
I'm pretty sure most athletes do, just in general. But that's the price you got to pay. If that's the life you want to live, you got to deal with the drug test. And when you get busted for getting a pregnant chick's piss, I don't know. Did she know she was pregnant? Did he go to her and was like, by the way.
I don't think she knew, because
now she does. She made national headlines.
Or they're just morons that...
How does this story get leaked out is what I want to know.
I don't know. His name's DJ Cooper. If anything, it worked out for him because it just got leaked out. I think it happened in 2018, and he is now playing overseas for AS Monaco, which is a large club team over there, so he's probably making pretty decent money.
This happened a while ago.
Yeah.
No, this was in 2013 because he entered the NBA draft in 2013.
Oh, I don't know how I heard of it. It was pretty recent, though.
My article updated August 5th, 2019.
Yeah, the article that I'm looking at was July 26, 2023.
Okay, so that whoever that journalist was like, you know what?
Maybe he was in a
Forget being original. Let's just look up something that happened 10 years ago and rewrite a story about it.
What if he was in a coma?
Who? The writer of the article?
Yeah, and he came out and he was like, I gotta get caught up. Wow, this is crazy. I should write an article.
That's the only that is the only situation where I will let the journalist be like, okay, you're not a lazy piece of shit. But if you're a journalist and you're just pulling up I get it. It's funny. It's interesting. And that kid is now 10 years old. We should get him a 10-year-old birthday present.
Yeah.
From the podcast.
What if that kid ends up being like an NBA player and they're just like,
But whoa. Is she we don't know who she was pregnant with.
And we don't know who the chick was.
Yeah, because this happened 10 fucking years ago.
NBNH investigates. 2 weeks later, I didn't find anything.
Yeah, blew our whole budget on gas and Ohio hotel rooms. Didn't really find out much.
I accidentally went to University of Ohio and not Ohio State.
Yes.
And a lot of people are mad at me.
It could be a huge mix-up. Sir, you are pregnant. And what kind of drugs do you think he was doing that allowed him to not want to use his own piss?
If it was 2013, I'm guessing it was just weed.
Yeah, that's true. Weed was not accepted as a drug now. As a matter of fact, I even said that. I think I said that over the weekend. Of like, oh, what drugs are you doing? It's like, oh, weed. And somebody's like, dude, no. Okay. That's not a drug. It's like, well, I mean, technically ibuprofen's a fucking drug, but, you know.
I mean, booze, which is essentially poison for your body, is legal.
Mm-hmm.
But there's other drugs that are like natural and are fine or illegal.
Marijuana was actually just legalized like a day before we went out there to Minnesota.
Nice.
So, and I don't think they would have done anything anyway.
Well, heroin or worse, that's where they draw the line at WEFest.
Yeah, well, it's a pretty soft line. It's WEFest. This isn't Electric Rainforest or Electric Forest or whatever it's called.
Yeah, my college...
This isn't Lollapalooza.
My college
where
roommate...
you're mandatory, you have to take Molly upon entering.
My college roommate went to like Electric Daisy Festival or whatever. It was in Michigan, and he drove like 15 hours. And I was like, so what is it? He's like, well...
I believe that's Electric Forest. Electric Daisy's in Vegas.
Yeah, it was whatever one's in Michigan.
Carnival. Electric Daisy Carnival, Las Vegas.
Okay, he went to one in Michigan, and I was
Electric Forest.
So I was like, what was it? He's like, we just did a bunch of drugs and hung out in a forest, and then they had concerts and stuff. And I was like, what?
I mean, yeah, I see how that would sound weird, but then if you explain something like WeFest, which we're apparently just going to talk about the whole episode, whether you like it or not, WeFest, the same thing. It's like you just kind of stand around, drink, show your titties, like, do whatever you want. I showed my nipples a lot, too. People were loving that.
Good for you, I guess.
The sweater was looking nice. I didn't have as much confidence in my chest sweater until I do now.
Did you trim it up a little bit?
I actually did. I did give the nipple hair a little bit of a trim and then a couple of spots on the edges.
Do you ever have your nipples chafe?
No.
One time I was playing a soccer game, and one of our mutual friends, we're done playing, and he takes his shirt off, and he just has Band-Aids over his nipples. Like Andy Bernard style, before Andy Bernard, and he's like, dude, they can't stop chafing. And I was like, well.
Gotta watch out for the nipple chafe. That's for damn sure. Should we get into Facebook Marketplace?
Yeah, there was a couple of them on there. And it's not so much Facebook Marketplace as it is just Facebook in our area is downright ridiculous. The first one I sent you, someone selling a 1950s aluminum camper that I want to say is the definition of homemade.
Oh, yeah. Okay, here it is.
It looks like a bomb shelter outside of land. Like there's 2 windows on it that are tiny, and it looks like if you got a bunch of sheet metal and just like put some rivets in it, and you're like, well, that's a camper now.
Yeah, I wish I had the actual listing. But from what I can see in your picture,
and it looks like someone just buried a hatchet into the front side of it.
oh yeah, there's a huge hole. Few things here. This is on what's for sale. I purchased to fix up, but never got around to it. Has potential to be your imagination. Ride smooth. Extra sets of rims, tires.
I said
Doesn't
they
spell
say
and.
they say ride smooth, but in the picture, I'm pretty sure there's no tires on it.
Oh, there's wheels. I can see it, but problem I'm going to bring up right away is, unless you just want to keep this camper in one spot for the rest of eternity, this thing has to be able to go onto highways. And the Department of Transportation is actually quite picky about that because that's how people die. This thing looks like way too wide for a normal interstate lane.
And
I don't think it'll get approved by any sort of
And the-
insurance company or inspection company.
And most times, like doors for campers or like a latch or something, the door for that just has a normal doorknob on it, assuming just from a house.
Yeah, it looks pretty rough. $1,500. Do you think maybe if we went and got it and then obviously have some expenses in there, but then scrapped all the sheet metal, you think we'd maybe come out on top, break even? What are you thinking?
The thing just needs to be thrown away. Like the propane tanks on the front of it, that thing is rusted into permanent position.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And it does look like it rides about 6 inches off the ground. So it's going to ride smooth until you hit a train track and it detaches.
The next one I brought up was under Bismarck reporting the news, and someone just put a picture of their backyard and said, I really need my backyard mowed. It's getting really long. I can't afford a lot. This is how big it is. I was trying to take a screenshot of this, but like literally one post in between there on the page is someone advertising his lawn care business.
Like right next to it.
Yeah.
Not a big yard at all.
No,
Actually, I'm going to count real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to guess about 15-ish lines, like rows of, if you went up and down 15 times.
Otherwise known as 6 minutes of work.
Yeah.
Also, like those push lawnmowers that are like,
She doesn't look particularly old either.
she just looks weird.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like she's just a lazy sack of shit.
Also, maybe just sell your stupid ass chimenea thing you have in the middle of your yard.
So I do have a little bit of a fallacy, something we need to clear up. I believe it was maybe last episode or episode prior where that person wanted to remain anonymous, and then at the end they signed their name. Their name's not Tia, Matt. It's thanks in advance.
Really?
TIA equals thanks in advance.
How am I supposed to know that?
I randomly thought about this, and I was just in my own world, apparently.
Just sit up in your bed.
Yeah, I was at WEFest. It was 6 in the morning. I've been asleep for an hour.
Why you FaceTimed me that one night.
Probably. I just had to tell you the big news because I was like, yeah, that she wanted to remain anonymous, but then signed her name, Tia, TIA. I'm like, wait a minute. No, I think I saw a different post where
someone else did that.
Wrote TIA, but in all caps. So then I knew it was an acronym. I was like, okay, Tia is still anonymous because, yeah.
Well, either way, that person's
so
stupid.
This is No Brains, No Headache podcast. I'm actually not all that surprised. I'm sure some people are listening like, these guys are idiots.
Oh, yeah.
It means thanks in advance. Tia, how hard is it? Like, yes, sometimes I'll write like LOL. But
maybe their first name is LOL.
There's a chance. I want to remain anonymous. LOL. But yeah, I mean, it's just, come on. Why do we have to use acronyms for everything?
It gets lost on me, a lot of them.
All right, Facebook Marketplace. Moving on.
Just one that I brought up. There is a Facebook page called Bismarck Camp Park, and some of them are hilarious. This guy's in the mall parking lot, and he essentially just got out of his car in the middle of the lot and was like, that's
and
good.
Somehow managed to take up 2 parking spots.
While doing that, which is actually kind of impressive.
Like he's on the line, but only like a foot in, right in the middle of the line. And yeah. Oh, they even have the license plate there. I could look this up,
I mean, they didn't cover it with their thumb.
Should have. Should find them and then write them a letter. And our final Facebook Marketplace listing for the day.
Asshole of the year. This guy's selling a jukebox. Seaberg jukebox in great shape, full of 45s and have more to go with it. Fully functioning and in great shape with all the lights working. I have all the song labels for the top as well. Price is not $50. Make me a serious offer. Why did you put the price at $50 then if the price is not $50?
Did you message this guy and offer him 45?
I should.
It's like best I can do. $45.
I'll take it for 50. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, it's also those people who like they're having like a garage sale or
They put
like
it
some
one-
charity event or something.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. Like I get that in a certain sense because if you do that listing on Facebook, you can't post it without a price. However, this actually looks pretty sweet. This actually might be one of the cooler items that we have talked about in our Facebook Marketplace career here. And then when you list it for $50, because that's pretty much the first thing people see, because you're just seeing it in your timeline. If you go to Facebook Marketplace, all you'll see is the picture, the title, and then the price.
Yeah.
So other people are seeing it for $50. Oh, I'm going to click on it. Now you see the description. And turns out Nathan is a fucking asshole who wants to list shit for cheap. And they'll be like, no, I know what this is worth. Piss jugs. I know what I have.
But
Make me a serious offer.
like, what constitutes a serious offer then? Because I'll seriously give you $25 for it and then push it off a bridge and send you the video because you're an asshat.
We should go flip this thing. Go buy it for 45. Kick the shit out of Nathan. Sell it for $4 million.
Should I be like, would you take 10? And then you message him at the same time and be like, hey, I know my friend Matt just said he'll give you 10, but I'll give you 15.
Hey, I know
and
my friend Matt.
and then I'll go back and be like, hey, my friend Jordan said he offered you 15.
Honestly, he'd probably message me back and be like, which Matt are you talking about? You have way too many Matts in your life. And I would agree. It's starting to get out of hand.
If you
right
got to cut one, I'll die on that cross.
now. Yeah. Podcast, Matt and I don't really talk besides the podcast. It's actually been going great.
Olympics.
Yeah, let's do it. You take this one over this week.
So last week, what we did is we picked a random number between 1989 and current, and we're going to give you gold, silver, bronze, lost in the medal round, maybe some honorable mentions, some DQs for shitty movies, but we're going to put together a Olympics of movies for that year. I'm going to random generate it. We obviously can't do 2010 because that's what we did it last week. If you want to listen to that episode, go to wherever you listen to podcasts, or you can find us on YouTube. But give me a number 1 through 5.
That's it. That's all you want?
Yep.
3.
Okay. 1, 2.
Are you doing 3 randoms?
Yep. 3. 2013.
2013 films. If you're listening right now at work and you want to waste some company time, feel free to play along with us. Type in the old 2013 movies and join us. All right.
Ooh, I think I got gold right away.
I mean, I just do a Google search,
Yeah,
and then it's just
2013
popular
movies. Yep.
2013 movies is like all I'm looking at. Just for context for our listeners, we have The Internship, Captain Phillips, American Hustle, Wolf of Wall Street, Lone Survivor, Grown Ups 2, ooh, Pain and Gain. What else do we have? Anchorman 2, Identity Thief, Hangover Part 3, We're the Millers, Her. Okay.
DQ?
I found the first DQ. If you want to waste, let's see here. If you want to waste 2 hours and 6 minutes of your life and hate yourself afterwards, watch the movie Her.
I would say that
Okay, let's just say, tell me what you're thinking.
gold medal, I think you have to go with Wolf of Wall Street.
I would get on board with that. Like when you watch Super Size Me and you really get hungry for McDonald's, every time I watch Wolf of Wall Street, I want to do a ton of cocaine.
I was just going to say I get hungry for crack. Have you ever done morphine? But then after that, I mean, it's a lot of movies. I would say one that I would put up there would be Lone Survivor.
Yeah, we got Wolf of Wall Street, Martin Scorsese, released on Christmas Day 2013. Just a buzzer beater for that year. Box office $406.9 million US dollars, that is. Obviously got Leonardo DiCaprio in there. It's about Jordan Belfort. He does make a cameo at the end. Jonah Hill, Matthew McConaughey.
Margot Robbie and her boobs.
Margot Robbie, she does get full nude, which is rather impressive. Coach Taylor's the detective.
Ooh, yeah. That's a good one.
So, yeah. I mean, very impressive. Both the movie and the tits. Okay, moving on. We got
there's a large
Gold.
drop off from the Wolf of Wall Street is what I'm getting into right now.
I mean, I would disagree with the one that I would want, but this is a group effort.
Which one are you thinking?
I got to go with Lone Survivor.
Yeah, I'm good with that being
I don't
silver.
think it's a big drop off. I actually read the entire book cover to cover of Lone Survivor.
On this
like,
podcast, I put it on the record that I was going to read the book before I watched the movie, and it went about 3 days, and I just watched the movie.
Just because you got so
I was like,
into it?
I was so like wanting to watch the movie that I just bit the bullet and watched it.
I mean, super good story here. Obviously came out in 2013, but it was 2005 Afghanistan. We got your Navy SEALs, Marcus Luttrell, who is Mark Wahlberg, Michael Murphy, played by Taylor Kitsch, Danny Dietz, played by Emil Hirsch, and Matthew Axelson, another Matt, played by Ben Foster. They go on a mission, doesn't go very well. You can use your imagination. You can also use the title of the movie to kind of figure out what happens.
What happens? Everyone dies except for one person.
Yeah. All right. I'll go with Lone Survivor. I also love that it's like a true story. And I just enjoy those more. Like, wow, this actually happened. Because I usually go and do a bunch of research, and you can listen to Marcus Luttrell on all sorts of interviews and other podcasts and read the book. It's
nuts.
Wild.
Now here's where it gets pretty interesting.
Okay, I didn't even think this far ahead.
If I'm gonna be honest, I'll say some that I would be okay with would be Anchorman 2. Olympus Has Fallen.
What about The Great Gatsby?
Never saw it. I'm gonna DQ After Earth with Will Smith and his dumbass kid. Fast and Furious 6.
Maybe We're the Millers. That's a really good one.
Yep. I'm in with that. That's
okay. Let's do We're the Millers for our bronze medal here. No Brains, No Headache podcast. We're doing the Olympics. The Olympics of 2013 films. Just switching it up a little bit. Got to try out some new shit every once in a while. Otherwise, you will get burnt out, just like winning Subway for life. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Small-time pot dealer David, played by Jason Sudeikis, learns the hard way that no good deed goes unpunished. Trying to help some teens, he is jumped by thugs and loses his cash and stash. Now he's in big debt to his supplier. To wipe the slate clean, he must go to Mexico to pick up a shipment. Ends up getting Jennifer Aniston to come with. There's a great scene in there. Will Poulter, Emma Roberts. Ed Helms is in there. Nick Offerman's in there. I haven't seen it in a while, but it is great. Everybody really likes it. That has seen it. That I know.
God, and then there is just a lot of movies that I've seen that are just not good.
What are you thinking?
There's a lot of action movies that I just... I mean, I do love Olympus Has Fallen 42, the Jackie Robinson movie.
Oh, dude, we gotta go with. I mean, we don't have to, but Jobs. There's so many good.
Which Jobs? Michael Fassbender or Ashton Kutcher?
I mean, that would be my first vote. If we're not going to do the Gatsby, I would also say, like, I don't know, Captain Phillips is kind of good, but it's like kind of boring too.
Yeah, and it has like one iconic moment. G.I. Joe Retaliation. God, I love action movies that are just terrible.
Dude, what about Prisoners?
Was that the one with?
Hugh Jackman and Jake Gyllenhaal?
Yep, let's go with that. I watched it last month for the first time, and it's
Pretty good.
Yep.
All right, there you have it. Prisoners, 2013 thriller. So a 6-year-old daughter goes missing, and Hugh Jackman loses his shit, pretty much.
Essentially, that is a great synopsis, and it has one of the creepiest characters of any movie I've ever seen.
Yeah, check out Prisoners if you haven't. Released on September 20th, 2013. Yeah, really great cast. I pretty much said all the main characters. Yep. All right, so we have, let's go through it really quick. Gold, Wolf of Wall Street.
Yep.
Silver, Lone Survivor.
Yep.
What did we say?
We're the Millers.
Bronze.
And then Prisoners.
All right, so much kind of a ragtag podium right there.
I mean, that's what you got to do.
So my honorable mentions would be, and of course Google probably has these ranked like by popularity, but The Internship I thought actually pretty funny. Captain Phillips, great movie, true story. American Hustle, all-star cast, a little confusing, but I can get behind it. Pain and Gain, underrated, funny, pretty good. Jobs, I remember seeing Jobs for the first time in that opening scene where he introduces the iPod.
Yep.
I don't know why. I was just so like maybe naive or just excited or just blinded. That opening scene, I thought that person was legitimately Steve Jobs. Like I thought that was just footage that they had.
This is the first iPod.
Yeah. Why don't you give a close up to for YouTube? You can watch the entire podcast episode on YouTube. Search No Brains, No Headache, and you'll see Matt here.
The thing actually spins. It's just nuts.
I wish we had like a tape measure. We could just measure like
it's a solid inch thick. Like if you got shot.
That is not an inch, but it's close.
Then my wiener's a lot smaller than I thought.
This thing is thick. This is a thick boy. Look at this backside, just shiny. Okay, durable. Yeah, this part actually spins, which is awesome. Does this work?
Yeah, I just got to get the charger out of the other room.
Just got to get the charger out of somebody's grave.
Yeah, I was going to buy a charger for it, but it cost $18,000. Other than that, it's just
42, Anchorman 2.
A very good year for action movies that I really like. Olympus Has Fallen, Pacific Rim, Fast 6.
I love Pacific Rim job. Snowpiercer. Wow.
Ooh, Snowpiercer was a great
movie. Oh, I'll throw a DQ out there. All Is Lost.
I don't even think I've seen that one.
So it's it was Robert Redford. He is a mariner and he's out on the water. And he pretty much loses it. It's him lost at sea.
I heard the movie Gravity with George Clooney and Sandra Bullock sucked something awful.
I'm sorry. I'm looking up a stat about this movie. All Is Lost. All Is Lost. 2013 action drama. Robert Redford, the only cast member. The film has 51 spoken English words. So if you want to take a nap,
either Days of Thunder.
Yeah. How long is this fucker? Okay, if you want to take an hour and 46-minute nap, All Is Lost would be my pick for you.
Or drinking game. Every time they say a word, you take a shot. You'd probably be okay at the end of it.
It'd probably actually be pretty fun. It'd be way more fun than just watching the movie because it's boring as shit.
Guys, get in here. He said another word.
Yeah.
Well, did you ever see the movie Dunkirk?
Yeah, well, that one's way better.
Yeah, but I think it's like 36 minutes where they don't say a single word.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
When it's badass, you have sweet soundtrack, really good like camera views and angles. This is a guy lost at sea, Matt. How much of an angle can you have? You don't. It's just water in a boat that's broken down.
I was going to say Castaway, but he had the island and Wilson. If you didn't have Wilson and you didn't really talk, that movie would have been a lot worse.
Well, why do you think they created the character Wilson, Slick?
So he could bang something?
Well, why did he name it a dude?
closetly gay. I don't know.
I mean, he could have been. He was supposed to propose to his wife or his girlfriend, and then didn't, and then she started banging the dentist.
Dr. Spalding.
Yeah.
All right, let's get out of here.
All right, that is episode. What are we on again? 164. There we go.
Yep.
What can we tell our listeners if they want to get more involved? They love No Brains, No Headache podcast so much that they want more of it. What can they do?
Leave us a review on Apple. It is a big one. You can follow us on Spotify. Those numbers keep going up.
My name is Jeff.
Or you can follow us on social media at NBNH Podcast, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. Episode 165 coming up next.
That was the low of me in the sound clips. I only did that one.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Which is quite impressive. 165 up next.
It's a brand new day, and now I feel right. It's a brand new day, and now I see the light. It's a brand new thing, brand new bird, it's brand new wings. Think I'm with the church. It's a brand new day, I still got rhythm. It's a brand new day, show.